TheChowTimePod, your host, Brett. I got a video today from Taylor the Fiend. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. So yeah, ciao time.
I cannot stress this enough. Men are not worth settling for in any circumstance, any way, shape, or form. It's not worth it. Like, we're so indoctrinated to believe that, like, we have to get married. We have to, like, aspire to, like, having a relationship.
It's not like you have to, but it's human nature to want to couple up and want to be with someone.
Having a man in our lives, like, the goal shouldn't be to get married. The goal should be to be happy. So if a man in your life is not making your life better, easier, happier, more enjoyable, like, there's no reason he should be in your life.
We can just say the exact same thing for men. If she doesn't do any of those things for you, yeah, just move on.
Nobody is trying to convince you to get married or to quote unquote settle. As far as I and a lot of men are concerned, nobody cares what you do. If you want to go out there and never settle for a man, that's not our problem. You can.
This is true. Well, Taylor's right? Like, I don't even care what men do. Like, in a sense, of course, I want men to be good men and do great things, but am I going to truly go out there and be like, oh, shame on you, you fucking can't do that, oh, you shouldn't be a hoe, and all these other things? You're gonna do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna shame it, I'm gonna shame those actions, but I'm not gonna really care if you do those things, right? Because it's your choice to screw yourself and your future over.
Be single and alone at 35 with a bunch of cats while men sit there and laugh at you. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, we have, as always, some stupid video clips for you here today that really show why dudes aren't dating modern women. Now, we will return to this woman later in the video who says, never settle for a man. Men are not worth settling for. And, you know, she's acting like we give a damn if she gets married. But first, we will get into this clip right here from a woman.
Yeah, it's funny, like, are these women thinking that men are just begging out there? Like, oh, please marry us. No, we don't care. Marriage is literally a trap for men. Men are not going out there ready for marriage like that anymore.
Who is saying, hey, ladies, if you are considering having a relationship with a man, you should never do these things. So let's jump in. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Let's take a listen.
Ladies, if you're in a cis-het relationship, I need you to stop doing some things for me, okay?
Cis-het? Can you just say a straight relationship? Or a regular relationship? What is it?
Or if you're even considering being in a cis-het relationship, don't do these things. Don't.
So just by the way, when she says cis-het, she's just referring to heterosexual relationships. I love how everybody has to have their own label and terminology these days, guys, and we have to very specifically point it out, like the majority of people aren't straight anyway.
Yeah.
So crazy to me. It's like cis this, trans that. Like, who the hell cares, man?
I need you to stop doing some things for me, okay? Or if you're even considering being in a cis-het relationship, don't do these things. Don't start cooking for your man. Don't start doing his laundry. Don't start cleaning his place up.
These are the exact things that my girlfriend did. The exact things that she did. Clean up my place, cooks for me, takes care of the house. She doesn't even live here, but she started doing these things. Guess what? She gets taken care of.
Especially if you don't even live there yet. Don't start taking care of his pets for him. Don't start reminding him of things that you think are important.
Oh my God. My girl is almost my secretary. Anything that has to do with, like, personal, like, appointments. So my facial appointments, she goes with me. My dentist appointments, anything, almost all of my appointments that has to do with doctors and stuff, other than business appointments, those I handle myself. She takes care of me, and she'll just remind me the day before, don't forget you got that dentist today, babe, at 2. Thanks, babe, because I totally freaking forgot. That's so useful to a man. Like, you can't really get rid of that so easily. I'm not saying you can't, because they can still do bad things that kind of outweigh it, but what else do we need?
Do you know why? Because those are going to become expected things from you.
You know what? This is some great advice, guys. I think we should apply this to men as well.
Same.
You know, guys,
Stop paying for
don't
stuff.
start paying for things for your woman. You know, don't pay for the date. Don't pay rent. Don't plan things. You know, don't solve her problems for her. If there's a burglar in the house, hey, just let them steal everything. You know, if the car breaks down, don't start fixing her car, guys. You know, none of these things are your problem as a man, because she's going to start expecting these things from you. I think this is some fantastic advice here. You know, I think we should all listen to what this woman is saying. She might be onto something, guys. Because apparently women shouldn't cook, they shouldn't do anything nice for their man, they shouldn't do the laundry or anything like this, because it'll become expected of them. And these women are the women that dudes never want to be with. You ever notice that, guys? The women making these TikTok videos giving dating advice. A lot of guys, the men who have self-respect, would never touch them with a 10-foot pole. You know, this woman probably can't even cook that well, I'll be honest with you. Don't ever cook for a man. It's like, okay, the dude would probably get food poisoning if he tried.
Or like a hot dog or something.
But, you know, maybe just relax a little bit there. Let's keep going.
Don't start taking care of his pets for him. Don't start reminding him of things that you think are important. Do you know why? Because those are going to become expected things from you. And then you're going to fall into this groove of you doing all of these things and him expecting them to be done. And then
I mean, I do admit, don't do these things if you truly don't genuinely like the guy or want to do these things. Because then now you're just trying to trick us.
there's going to be this inequality in your relationship. A lot of women start doing things like this when they get in relationships because they think it makes them feel needed and important to.
It does. I can honestly say that I don't truly need a girlfriend, but when she does things like this, for, like, you know, to make my life so much easier to where I don't have to think about certain little things, it becomes invaluable. That I can't put a value on that anymore. So it becomes such a great feature of that person. It outweighs a lot of little things that you might not like, because, hey, you know what? She's doing the major things that matter.
The man in their relationship, because that's what we're ingrained to believe and to think, is to anticipate and take care of other people.
That's what us men are trained to do and expected to do, and we're not that great at it because we can't read minds.
Yeah, guys, Lord forbid that you take care of your man in any capacity. I wonder why men don't want you. This is crazy to me, man. Again, like, imagine if the genders were reversed here. Women would be losing their marbles, guys. You know, because, again, all of the roles that are expected of men previously, they're still expected of men.
Yep.
Men are still expected to be traditional. Can I just not pay the bills because I don't feel like it and I don't want to look after her? You see what I'm saying? Like, this is just like, you start applying this crap to men.
I mean, you can just say it now. Oh, I want to be selfish. I don't want a family. I want to just be by myself. I don't want to work normal jobs and stuff like that. And men would get shamed for that, right? When women say these things, oh, slay queen, you're just in your soft girl era, blah, blah, blah. Men, it's not like men want to do these things.
And then society falls apart very damn quickly. Is you know, a dude's just going to stop solving all of their problems because, you know, we don't care about women. Like, again, a lot of these women wouldn't really, I would argue a lot of these girls wouldn't survive men, because anytime a problem comes up, if the problem is serious in any capacity, who are we calling upon? We're calling upon men. You know, if you have a boyfriend or a husband and somebody breaks into the house and somebody has to go downstairs, who is it going to be? It's going to be the dude that goes down every single time. You know, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes you've got car issues, the dude fixes it, right? The bills come in, the dude handles it, and so on and so forth. And this isn't even talking about broader society, guys, right? You have some sort of like physical altercation. Maybe you're like a clerk at a store or something. The store gets robbed. Who do you call? You call a dude, probably. You know, the police come, it's probably a dude. Fire starts, who do you call? You call men. Like, it's crazy, man, that we have women like this who are like, you know what, I don't want to do anything nice for a man simply because he will rely on these things. What happened to actually people rely?
when men start relying on these things, it becomes a part of our life that is necessary when we start relying on it. That's the thing that women don't realize. Now that I'm with my girl, I don't pay attention to certain appointments and stuff anymore because she'll just remind me and she'll book those appointments for me. Now, if she was to leave, I have to take that mantle back up and it's just more work for me. But as it is now, if I don't have to worry about it and it does get reminded for me already, it just feels necessary. It feels good.
Lying on each other. Can't have that anymore, guys, you know? And these are the same women, by the way, that cry and complain when dudes don't want them in relationships, you know? Oh, he keeps using me for my body. You're not offering anything else. Hilarious.
Makes them feel needed and important to the man in their relationship, because that's what we're ingrained to believe and to think, is to anticipate and take care of other people. So when we get in a relationship, we want to make sure that we're needed, and so we start making ourselves available to these things. We start doing these things like cooking and cleaning and his laundry and reminding him of what you believe to.
If you're not needed and you're trying to make yourself not needed, then you're just pretty much putting men in the same boat that women put men in. You know, like, I don't need no man. Men don't think that way.
Be important dates or important things. And then we set ourselves up for this expectation to continue on throughout the relationship. And then once you finally get to a point, a lot of times it's after you have kids or when you move in together, but sometimes even not at that point, you realize how burnt out and tired you are of being the one who's always doing everything.
Yeah, guys, because these things that she listed, they constitute 100% of everything, right? How blind do you have to be to not understand that there's more that needs to be done than these things that she listed?
I mean, even imagine a man that makes good money, that the money that these women want. Do you think that man doesn't do his own laundry majority of the time? Do you not think he knows how to do these things? You don't think he cleans the house? You don't think he cleans his room and all of this stuff that women do? He's already been doing it. You just make his life easier. It didn't change much for him. Right? That's the thing that women didn't realize. Men have been doing this before you came. Even if you came and started doing it, we can still do it when you leave.
So, like, are you going to, let's switch the roles here, because again, typically the dudes are expected to pay for crap. They're expected to look after you physically and financially. So if the dude goes out here, he does all the cooking, he does the laundry and so on, can he sit while you're paying the bills, looking after him, right? Can he sit there and then say that he's doing everything? You know, like, we just refuse to acknowledge the way that men contribute, ever. We refuse to acknowledge it. And this is why dudes don't want to contribute to you.
Yep. And all men want is just a little bit of appreciation. You know?
Why dudes don't want to contribute to you. They don't want to pay first dates. They don't want to pay your bills. They don't want to look after you physically. You know, you need to sit down on public transport. Too bad. The dude's taking your spot. Like, this really quickly makes dudes not give a damn about you, right? Because again, they have no reason to. If you're going to view them as essentially nothing, then men are not going to help you. I don't feel sorry for these women, man, when they start crying and complaining about the dating scene and being like, oh, there's no real men, and, you know, men only use me for one thing, despite the fact that they opt into this, by the way. The women go out there and actively hook up with these men. I don't know why I'm expected to feel sympathy for them when they get screwed over, apparently. Right. You know, but they wonder why dudes don't want to whack them up. They wonder why men don't want to have relationships with them. This is exactly why dudes are not interested. So yeah, apparently she's doing everything, guys. Absolutely everything. Again, we don't talk about what the men...
Cooking. Some women love it. Laundry. So you throw it in the wash, put a little bit of detergent, hit a button. 20 minutes to an hour later, take out from wash, throw in dryer, hit a button. 30 minutes to an hour later, clothes are washed. Huh, shocking.
Men do
all day.
Point. You realize how burnt out and tired you are of being the one who's always doing everything. You're in charge of the meal prep and planning. You're in charge of the cooking. You're in charge of the dishes, loading the dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher, doing the laundry, folding the laundry, remembering to get detergent when you're out, to be the one in charge of planning holidays with your families. the one in charge of making the food for those get-togethers, the one in charge of planning those date nights. When you start doing all those things from the get-go, it's going to become an expectation in your relationship, because that's the foundation that you've laid. Because think about it, if your boyfriend starts out, you get in this relationship with him, and he starts out sending you flowers every day, sending you good morning texts every day, and then after a year or two, he just kind of stops.
Okay, this is what we like to call a false equivalency here, man.
Seriously.
So apparently we're comparing cooking and cleaning,
which are essentials, to extravagant flowers and gifts.
To the dude's supposed to get you flowers every day. You have to eat meals every day. You don't have to have flowers every single day. Usually what the men are doing is they are looking after you physically and financially. That's really what's happening here. Now, if you don't feel like cooking and loading the dishwasher, right, that's fine. Nobody cares, right? Go out there, be single, be alone with your cats. Not my problem, not men's problem. But it's just funny to me, guys. These women, they make these videos and they feel like they're doing absolutely everything. But if you remove the man from their situation, then all of a sudden they actually have to go out there and pay their own bills, and they start crying in their car making TikTok videos about it. We never acknowledge the man's contributions to the relationship whatsoever. It's just, oh, wow, I feel like I have to do everything because I have to recognize when we're running out of detergent and I have to load the dishwasher.
Considering you're the one that's washing clothes most of the time, so you would know. Even some stuff, my girl would be like, hey, can you go get some fried fish? I'm making some mango sauce tonight. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go to 99 Ranch and fry up a fish. Who
probably bought the dishwasher? Are we going to talk about that? You wouldn't even have a dishwasher if the dude didn't buy it for you, probably. Holy hell, man. These women are so damn entitled. Again, whatever they do, it's this is just absolutely everything.
Blade. Because think about it, if your boyfriend starts out, you get in this relationship with him, and he starts out sending you flowers every day, sending you good morning texts every day, and then after a year or two, he just kind of stops. It would be like, hey man, what the fuck? Set out as you mean to go on. You don't have to.
I don't think, who the hell would encourage that behavior to continue, by the way? Getting flowers
for 2 years straight every day? That person just wasted so much money.
Flowers every day. Let's just hypothetically go with this woman's scenario here, and a dude's giving her flowers every day. You're where are you going to put all these flowers? I don't know. This seems very impractical to me. You're just going to have, you're going to have to throw out so many flowers. Anyone with any brain would tell you that this is just ridiculous. And this doesn't even make sense. Dudes are not out here getting you flowers every single day, especially a woman like this. But she's like, oh, you're going to keep expecting flowers. If the woman had any common sense whatsoever, she'd be like, yo, stop getting me flowers. This is probably too many damn flowers. These women can't even make up situations correctly that correlate with what they're trying to talk about. They just make up something that's unrelated.
To anticipate somebody else's needs and provide unpaid domestic labor. You don't have to anticipate somebody else's needs and provide unpaid domestic labor to your partner.
Unpaid domestic labor. So should the dude be getting paid to protect you and fix your things and pay your bills? I'm confused, guys. These women, they come out here and they act like, so if you're the dude's employee, can he fire, can he just come out here and fire you one day? Or are you going to lose your mind over it? If we're going to treat you like an employee, are you sure you want to go down that road? It's crazy, guys, how women are actively advocating for you to treat them like they're your employee. Where are our wages? If the dude had to pay you wages, he would probably just go out and get somebody more pleasant, to be honest with you. He would just go out there and get a woman who's nicer. And again, dudes are not being rewarded for doing their positions, right? They look after you physically.
They don't even get acknowledged.
They look after you financially. Who's subsidizing that? Men aren't receiving a bonus to their paycheck for taking care of a woman who's as entitled as you. So why should the women get money for quote unquote
right? It's not like we're going to work and oh, you're married? Let me add you an extra little bump on your paycheck.
Unpaid labor. I think that the women who consider looking after their families, looking after their man to be unpaid labor, are not even worthy of a relationship to begin with.
True.
The dudes would be better off throwing you out and then hiring a maid if they wanted to get labor. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're not a wife. And these women are not even positioning themselves as wives. They're positioning themselves as employees. If you want to go down the transactional route, then you would probably just be sacked immediately, to be honest with you. You know? Like, it's so stupid to me. Oh, I need to be paid to look after my significant other. Yeah, you don't need significant other. You shouldn't even have one. That's like saying, you know, guys, you go out here and you get a pet, okay? And you're like, well, I'm not going to walk my pet today. Let's just say it's like a Labrador or something. You go out there, you get a Labrador. And you're like, well, I'm not going to walk my Labrador today because this is unpaid labor. What the hell are you talking about? You know, you do it because, you know, you're supposed to look after this thing or this person or whatever it is, because you opted into this because you care about them. But again, guys, women are treating these relationships, they are treating these marriages like they are transactional. If men did the same thing to them, they would lose their marbles over it.
Fuck. Set out as you mean to go on. You don't have to anticipate somebody else's needs and provide unpaid domestic labor to your partner in order to feel loved, in order to be needed, in order to be important in a relationship. You should be.
So are you just going to sit there and do nothing all day? Like, I'm confused.
Loved and accepted and important without having to provide free domestic labor.
I love this line of thinking, guys. Check this out. You should be loved and accepted, right? You should be loved and accepted and important without having to provide free domestic labor. Let's just contrast this to men for a second. You think that men are loved or cared for if they don't provide something?
Yep.
You know, how dare you, as a man, expect anything of me, the woman? Don't you know I'm supposed to sit here and do nothing and you're supposed to do everything for me, you absolute peasant?
Oof,
like, let's wind it back a bit here, guys. If men don't bring anything to the table, they don't even get to sit at the table. So I don't care if a woman comes on here and says, well, I'm not going to be loved and accepted and feel important if I don't contribute to the relationship. Yeah, you shouldn't. You bring nothing to the relationship, you should get nothing out of it.
Damn right.
That's fine. That sounds like fair rules to me, man. But again,
Equality.
like, it's so crazy how these individuals arrive at this position. You apparently, guys, if this woman is your wife or your girlfriend, you need to pay her to load the dishwasher. You need to pay her to make meals. So on top of,
and again, it's like when you're together, it's also your own dishes and your own meals too. You're just cooking maybe a little bit extra work because there's an extra person, but you're doing a lot of these labors anyways.
Probably looking after her already. At least physically, at least over 50% financially is typically as well. You know, all the other miscellaneous things that men do for women. On top of those things, you have to pay a fee that goes to your girlfriend because, or wife, because of unpaid domestic labor. Disgusting, man. Absolutely disgusting. Like, what is the difference between you and an employee or a night worker? You know? Like, really? If you're going to make this transactional, I guarantee you it's not the women who win in this particular situation.
To be needed in order to be important in a relationship, you should be loved and accepted and important without having to provide free domestic labor.
Yeah, guys, you know, you should be loved. You should be able to get into a relationship with a model girlfriend who will cook and clean for you every night. She'll be fantastic, right? And if she expects you to do anything, then she's a complete psycho, right? She's expecting free, unpaid labor. And hey, guys, you might be jobless. You might have no friends. You might be overweight. You might be balding. But don't worry, kings. You deserve that person who's going to do things for you, and you don't have to contribute anything. What kind of thinking is this, man? I would argue that this isn't even thinking, to be honest.
Without having to prove your worthiness of that love. So just a little nugget of information, a little reminder for you. If you don't want those things to become expected of you in the long term, don't start doing them from the get-go.
Yeah, guys, so just a little tidbit of information here for you, gentlemen. If you're a man, don't ever start looking after a woman. Don't pay her rent. Don't take her out on dates. Don't.
We can agree with this with Taylor. Do not do these things off the bat, off the rip, until she starts providing some kind of value to you. And then you can start doing some of those things.
Buy things on those dates. Don't look after her physically. Don't care about her safety whatsoever. Don't lead in the relationship or anything like this, because these things will become expected of you, gentlemen. And what you really want to do is you want to minimize anything you ever have to do for anybody else ever, especially your significant other, guys.
I mean, this advice right here is what the Chad Pookie Roans do, you know? Chad, Pookies, and Tyrones. They live life like this, giving women the bare minimum of everything, but women still go after these men.
Make sure you remember that, and I'm sure happy blessings into your marriages will follow. So let's jump into the next clip here, and this is the one that I played at the beginning, and this one is hilarious. So we have this woman right here. This is the first frame of the video, by the way. You know, she's a queen. You can already tell. Okay, I won't settle, says Jenny, and she gets into it. Let's take a listen.
I cannot stress this enough. Men are not worth settling for in any circumstance, any way, shape, or form. It's not worth it. Like, we're so indoctrinated to believe that, like, we have to get married. We have to, like, aspire to.
It's crazy that they think that they're indoctrinated to think this way. Why do you think that? Because you literally think the opposite.
Like, having a relationship.
Nobody tells women that they have to get married or have a relationship, by the way. In fact, it is encouraged these days to go out there and do whatever the hell you want because it's empowering. These women, they feel very pressured because they're older family members. And, you know, some people who are a little bit more discerning, they'll be like, yo, where's, you know, are you getting married or something like this? Like, where's your relationship? And it'll be held against her by some people because they'll think rightfully that she's crazy and she's been 304ing around this entire time. But a lot of people in society absolutely encourage women to go out there, be promiscuous, never have a relationship, have a bunch of situationships. And apparently this is good for women and it constitutes empowerment to a lot of people. You know, but women are like, man, we're being pressured into marriage. I guarantee you most men don't give a damn.
See, that's like, it's lies too. We're pressured in the marriage. We're pressured to having kids. No, because marriages are in their 30s now. Like, the average marriage is what, 31, and the average births are much later. So what the hell are you talking about? Oh yeah, out of your ass, because obviously you don't know any numbers or statistics. It's all off of fifis.
If you get married, most women are going to be on your side, trying to get you to go to concerts every 2 weeks. Like, you're fine, madam. Go out there, continue your quote unquote queen lifestyle, as it were. Nobody cares.
Having married, we have to, like, aspire to, like, having a relationship, having a man in our lives. Like, the goal shouldn't be to get married. The goal should be to be happy. So if a man in your life is not
that's what they're teaching women. The goal is to be happy, to be selfish. Don't do things that might benefit society. Don't do things that might benefit your partner. Don't do things that are going to be better for the overarching thing, other than just be selfish and do what you could do. Yes, slay, queen.
Making your life better, easier, happier, more enjoyable. Like, there's no reason he should be in your life. At least when men settle for a partner, they get, like, a personal assistant, a house manager, a nanny, a chef, a therapist.
Yeah, so here's the thing. When men get into relationships and marriages, they don't consider it settling. This is a term that entitled women such as yourself use, okay, when they've hooked up with too many dudes and they get into a subsequent relationship. Exactly. They consider it settling now. But dude, I don't think I've ever heard a dude.
I mean, I think I hear men say we're going to settle down. That is different than settling. Settling down just means we're ready to have a family.
That he feels like he's settling or he doesn't want to settle. This is a word that women use. It's completely ridiculous. It's disgusting. And if you feel like you are settling for your significant other, man, it's already over. You might as well just call it right there. Completely doomed. Okay, so apparently, guys, it's men's jobs to make these women's lives easier, happier, blah, blah, blah. And if he's not doing that, then he's not a real man, or whatever the hell she said. Here's the thing about people making you happy is happy is a fleeting emotion. So if your requirement for a man is that he has to be making you happy all the time, That is not going to last. Even if this man does his absolute best in order to increase the quality of your life, as it were, you're not going to be happy 24/7. If you were happy 24/7, this would be considered a mental illness. People by default are not programmed biologically to be happy 24/7. That's what you call a manic psycho. Okay, so setting the standard for men is ridiculous. Nobody can make anybody happy all of the damn time. And also, by the way, it's not really men's job to even try to do this in the first place. If you're not content, if you're not happy, this is not other people's responsibility. Can you guys imagine if dudes came with the same mentality to their relationships and marriages? Well, I won't have a relationship with her unless she has to make me happy. Like, what the hell is this? No dude says this. No people who have any common sense.
We always say she has to be at least useful to us, provide us some value, reciprocate.
Require their happiness to be outsourced to other people. Now, that doesn't mean that you be a piece of crap to your significant other or whatever, but it's just understanding that, you have to bring contentment of your own to the relationship. You can't rely on other people to make you happy all of the time. This is what children do.
A man in your life is not making your life better, easier, happier, more enjoyable. Like, there's no reason he should be in your life. At least when men settle.
Again, we'll just reverse it and say, if women do not do any of these things, they shouldn't be in your life. You shouldn't be paying for things.
For a partner, settle. They get like a personal assistant, a house manager, a nanny, a chef, a therapist.
Many women are not capable of filling any of these roles, by the way. A lot of modern women, they can't cook. They don't care.
I mean, I like my girl and all, but they're definitely not no therapist.
About what you say to them. They don't give a damn about your feelings or your struggles. They don't actually assist you in your business or anything like this. Oftentimes, the house is...
I mean, somewhat my girl, I can say, yeah, she does help me with some personal assistant type things. She does do those things.
Like, women are not out here these days filling these roles. Like, they really aren't,
Very
especially
few.
women like this. Can you imagine, guys, asking this woman right here for a sandwich? I don't think it would go down particularly well. The sandwich and also the discussion. I think the sandwich would probably be a horrible sandwich if she did make it for you, but she probably wouldn't. She would probably lose her marbles. How dare you? You have to pay my really expensive rent if you want me to make you a sandwich. Like, dudes are really, when they go out here and they get a modern day woman as a girlfriend, they don't get these things. A lot of dudes just get a liability. Someone who's looking to take him for his resources, someone who is not capable of doing any of the things that she just listed.
A house manager, a nanny, a chef, a therapist. What do women get when we settle for a man that treats us like less than the way that we want to be treated? We get emotionally, physically, mentally drained. It is not worth it.
Stay single then. Nobody gives a damn.
But it's also, again, projection. Like, obviously, those are the men that she's been with most of her life. Is the men that barely give her anything, treat her like crap, run through her. But yet, those are the men she's attracted to.
Like, there's layers to this nonsense, guys. Again, we deserve to be treated. We need to be treated this way, or we think that we're settling. It's like, shut up. It's like, this is why women are in this position and they're making these TikTok videos, man, is because they're pissed off that the men that they want refuse to give them commitment, and so they end up making videos like this.
Yep.
That's really what it boils down to. I will not settle. I deserve the bare minimum from a man. I'm sick of hooking.
Yeah, it's like double down, triple down. I can't get the man I want. Well, then no man deserves me.
Up with these guys who don't do the bare minimum for me. I know my worth. And then here's the thing. The dude, she'll say that she knows her worth, and so she'll have this long list of expectations. But again, this list of expectations that she comes up with only apply to the men that she's not attracted to.
Yep.
The men who are highly attractive, they get to bypass all of this stuff about how, I deserve the bare minimum, because the men who are attractive don't need to put in the bare minimum. The women are going to hook up with these guys anyway. Mm-hmm. If the dude wanted a relationship, he could just say, yeah, okay, fine. But like, all these standards and expectations and these big long ass lists that women make, and they start feeling like they're settling, Any dude who actually has to conform to these things in order to get a relationship out of this woman, that relationship will not last. She will try and steal from him. She will treat him like trash, and she will absolutely be out here cheating on him. Complete waste of a dude's time.
Emotionally, physically, mentally drained. It is not worth it. Once you get to the like mindset that like men are not worth settling for, that is when you get the good men, because they're the only ones that you'll accept.
Yeah, and these, you know what happens to these good...
Right, because you fit the demographic of the good men than what they want, huh? They never think about that. They always think about what I want, but not what I want wants.
Good men, by the way, who treat you well and do everything by the book. What happens to these men is they get completely screwed over.
Trash.
They get cheated on. They get disrespected. They get treated like trash. The women feel like they are settling in these particular scenarios. Ironically enough, these are the men who women end up believing that they are settling for, by the way. You know, because he might be doing everything by the book. He might be great. He might be providing for her, caring about her. He loves her, great with her family and things like this. But he's just not as attractive as that other guy. So eventually she will believe that she is settling for this guy. And she will use that as justification to rob him later on as she ditches the marriage.
Shout outs to Taylor the Fiend. His videos are a little longer and a little bit more talkative than Clip's versions, so I didn't really feature his channel too much, but I do enjoy his channel. I thought, you know what, maybe it's a new year, we'll feature him and see if everybody enjoys his content, because it seems like you guys watch his content anyways from how my YouTube algorithm tells me. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that.